good afternoon. So what you see on the screen is the city of Cerro De Pasco. It's a city 4,400 meters above sea level in the Andes of Peru. It's a city, but it's also a mine. The Spanish came there in 1630, and they discovered that big mass of lead, zinc, copper, gold, and silver, and they start to mine it. That mine has never stopped its operation since then, 400 years. I don't know one mine that has such a statistic. In 1916, Mr. J.P. Morgan made what they still call the greatest investment of the 20th century in Peru. They list the company on the New York Stock Exchange. It was called Cerro De Pasco Copper Corporation. They sent the best geologists from the United States, the best engineer, the best machinery, the best equipment. Cerro De Pasco was the school of all the mines in the world. Everybody wants to work at Cerro De Pasco. They extracted from that mine 300 million tons over a period of 400 years. This is a usual forward-looking statement that the regulators suggest us to add to our PowerPoint presentation. So I suggest you to visit our website and read it. So out of those 300 million ton, 75 million ton were processed. This is what you see in that tailing here. And 104 million ton were stockpiled there, not processed. Why you see those tarp on top of that stockpile is just because half of the tailing and half of the stockpile is pyrite. So it produces acid water. So please remember here the shape of the heart here, and I will show you a satellite picture. So from the sky, what you see that shape of the heart here, which is the 104 million ton stockpile. And you see that tailing here. Obviously, you see some acid water here. So what Cerro De Pasco own, we own the mineral rights on the stockpile and on the tailing. In fact, we own the mineral rights on what's called the largest above-ground mineral resource in the world. The pit here has been shut down. Volcan, owned by Glencore, still process those oxide into the oxide plant here. In 2015, the National Geographic showed up there. They start picking up samples all over in the community. In addition to that, they pick up some blood from the little kids, which reveal high level of bismuth and arsenic in the blood. The pit was shut down. In 2019, we were to buy the whole thing. Glencore Volcan owns those two mills here. They are flotation plants. They used to process 13,000 tons per day. Today, they process 2,000 tons per day since the pit is shut down. We wanted to buy those two flotation facilities because we got 200 million tons of material here. So we wanted to pay $1. We pay $1. The deal was we pay $1 for both mill, and we pay $140 million for the oxide plant. Just before we signed the deal in 2019, COVID came. All the mines, most of the mines in Peru were shut down. Cerro De Pasco was shut down. No ore, no money, no stream, no financing. We were not able to do the transaction. But we were 4 months in the Volcan Glencore office to do our due diligence. We had 4 engineers there for at least 4 months. We took monthly report, month by month, and this from 1906 until 1992. And we just realized that they have processed 75 million tons at 4% copper, 3.3% lead, 8.6% zinc, 4 ounces silver, 3 gram gold. Was this a rich mine? So we know also they have recovered 60% of that. So we know precisely what is left in that tailing, which is 75 million ton at 1.6% copper, 1.3% lead, 2.2% zinc, 2 ounces silver, 1.2 gram gold, and this above ground. Let's recall that the price of a metal, 40% of it is mining. This has been all mined. So just to make a round number, what's left in the tailing, it's 581 million ounces of silver equivalent, or 1.5 million ton of copper equivalent. That's the largest above ground mineral resource in the world. So what's left to do now? We have to transform, even if we know precisely what's in that tailing, we have to transform that resource into a 43-101 resource. So we have to perform those 40 holes on the tailing. Okay? So for that, we got what they call the Declaración de Impacto Ambiental. It's an impact environmental study. It's done. It's accepted. We received the drilling permit from the Minister of Energy and Mine. We received $2 million from Glencore. They just lent us $2 million. In exchange, they just want to see what's in that tailing. So the only thing, and this took us a lot of time, the only thing left to do is finalize the agreement for surface access. It's not that easy. You got to know while we're going to perform that work, who's going to take care of the acid water. So we have an agenda, we think by the end of June or first or second week of July, we're going to have this, finalized this agreement for surface access. So how we're going to do when it's done. So what you see in orange, it's the tailing. That's the tailing. So we're going to put a hole there. It's going to be filled up with water. We're going to bring a ponton. And then we're going to bring the pumps down, and we're going to create some muds. So different from what was done before, there will be no more trucking, no more noise, no more dynamite. We're going to mine that the green way with a pipeline. You see, we're creating that mud. We're going to process 10,000 tons per day, day and night. So here's the agenda. We think we're getting the right to access the ground by the end of June or first week of July. So just to rapidly tell you the in situ, without the copper and the gold, and I told you was the largest gold copper mine in the world, but from some drill holes that were performed, we know there's an in situ value of $118 US per ton. Okay? So if you take some 50% recovery, some treatment charge, recovery charge, some surface mining, processing costs, sustaining, at the end of the day, we're going to make, just with the zinc, lead, and silver, $26 US profit per ton. On 75 million ton, it's $2 billion profit of life of mine. It's starting next year, 100 million US profit per year, without the gold and the silver include, and I'm not talking about the stockpile. So we're going to end up producing a concentrate of base metal. We're going to produce a concentrate of quartz that we're going to sell. And we're also going to produce a concentrate of pyrite that might be problematic. Pyrite always produces acid water. So what we're trying to develop right now, with the German Aerospace Center, we're trying to transform that pyrite into green hydrogen. So problem with pyrite, when it reacts with oxygen and water, it ends up doing iron hydroxide, sulfate, and 4 protons of hydrogen. So what we have done, we have succeeded with a roaster, taking the pyrite with oxygen and water and doing some hematite and sulfuric acid. So what you see here is H2 appearing. H2 is the energy of the future. Next phase, so we're trying to do the electrolysis of the sulfuric acid. So it's a weak bond compared to today we produce hydrogen with water. We're taking some energy and we try to separate the H2 from the O. It's a covalence bond. It's a very, very strong bond. While H2SO4 is an ionic bond. It's a weak bond. So we're in the second phase right now. We're trying to do the electrolysis of the H2SO4. Just to end, we have bought, by the way, from Trevally lately, the Santander mine. That mill has an evaluation, a fair value of $52 million. We're trying to move from the Magistral to the Santander pipe. This should earn us, starting in 2025, some $20 million free cash flow per year. 50% of our share, or almost 50% of our share, are owned by insider management and directors. So altogether, on that board, there's 180 years of combined experience in the mining business. This is us.